is daybreak. But Jacob replied, would not let you go unless you bless me. The man asked him, what is your name? Jacob, he answered. Then the man said, your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have wrestled with God and with humans and have overcome. Jacob said, let's leave it right there. Turn to your neighbor and say, 2020 is going to be a breakthrough year because of what's in you. One more time, just real loud to your neighbors, to the people that near you, your other neighbor, tell them. Make sure they hear. I discovered we got to hear the problem today. Make sure they heard you with clarity. 2020 is going to be a breakthrough year because of what's in you. Rob toned me down a little bit till I get loud, till my voice faint and I need loud. Amen. Just a little bit. No doubt many of us have crossed over into what we are on the verge of the ending of a decade. We got 360 some days left. To discover whether or not this year would be better than the year that you had last.
Thank you, God.
And many of us are trying to figure out what is it that we need to make this a better year than what we had.
Amen.
And some of us have already started adding on human accoutrements, human stuff, something to change your hair, change your eyes, change your clothes.
Yeah.
Some of us even played with and contemplating changing your name. Some is already looking to change your address if you already haven't changed it. Some of you looking to change partners and people around you, and you thinking that if you do some external change, then it's going to guarantee you a breakthrough or a blessing.
Come on, help us today, Pastor.
You're looking for what it's going to take in order for you to have a breakthrough year. To have a year like none that you've ever had before. But I want to bring you closer today to the text, and you may discover that it's very possible that what you're looking for is not outside of you, but inside of you.
Yes, sir.
The stuff that you're trying to accumulate and the people that you're trying to connect with may not be able to help you at all until you figure out what all you have in you. Many of us in here, we want a breakthrough here, and you're already thinking there's somewhere I gotta go. It's something else I got to attach myself. It's someone else I have to attach me to. And all of us in here got our own stuff and our own thing that we think that we need to do. Some of you thinking, I need a new church so I can have a breakthrough. And really what you need to do is really be to come to church in yourself, and you would.
Come on, Pastor, help us.
Let me introduce you to Abraham's grandson. He's not a grandson like the son. He's different. Matter of fact, he was born in a different set of circumstances. That when his mother was giving birth, she discovered at some point there was something wrong with her pregnancy. And when that day they didn't have doctors and advancement that you and I have, to where we can go get an ultrasound and look at it and see what's moving around on the inside. So they had to see the God that can see everything. And so therefore she inquired of the one that can peep in her belly and see what was the problem inside of it. And so therefore she inquired of a God that could see all, know all. God is the original ultrasound. She goes to him and asks him, what is it that's going on with me? And she says to her, there's no problem with your pregnancy. The problem is that I've placed in you two nations. when I placed in you not one son, but two sons. And I want you to know, and I need to inform you, Rebecca, and I don't need you to tell everybody, because I don't need everybody to know that the younger son is going to be greater than the older son, and the older son shall serve the younger son. And I know that's not the way it go in normal patriarch order, but this time I'm doing something different, and I'm trying to get the leader that can function, and a leader that it gets it not by inheritance, but the one that earns the right to order to lead the people. And so I put him in a disposition. Woo, God. Somebody in here don't realize that God did you a favor, did me a favor, and some of the rest of us a favor, because God created circumstances of disposition for you so that God can challenge the strength that was in you. He says to Rebecca, thank you, God, hallelujah to your name. He says to Rebecca, that boy gonna be first. But the problem is, God says he's gonna be first, and God says he's gonna lead, but God puts him in second. Because when birth is being birthed, that the son, the older brother, comes out first, and Jacob grabs hold to his oldest brother here as if to say to him, that's my place. That's where I'm supposed to be. I heard God whisper to mom and told our mama that I would be first. But the problem is that somewhere in the birth order, you done got ahead of me, even though you don't deserve to be ahead of me. And you can't function. But yet he was born second, and God allowed him to be second because God needed a leader that could be strong, not because you said he was strong, but because he earned the right to be strong. And so God dispositioned him so that God can challenge the strength in him. Come here, all of those of you who's been complaining about your position that you was born in. Come here, all of you who've been complaining because you was born on the wrong side of the track and you wasn't born in plush condition. Come here, all of y'all that has been complaining about the fact that you didn't have the right parents and you didn't have the right school and you didn't have the right community. Come here, all of y'all who's been complaining as if God did you a disfavor when he really did you a favor, because what God knows about you is that he placed something in you, and what he placed in you was unnecessary so he can challenge you so you can get it out of you. God, who declared the one would be first, put him in second care so God can challenge the strength that was in him. So all the things that happened to you, all the stuff that's going on with you, and I mean all, whatever happened, whatever you've been through, is because God is trying to challenge the strength that is in you. You know, you ever been in school and you've been that student that's been lagging? I know that. You can do better, but you don't do better because no one challenged you. But there's that one teacher that shows up in your life and look at you and say, boy, I know it's barely in you. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to get out of you. And that teacher give you, look, they normally harder on you than they are on others. Require more of you than they require of others. They push you when you don't want to be pushed. They tug at you when you don't want to be tugged. They make you do things you don't want to do. They won't leave you alone because they won't let you settle. And what God knows about Jacob, if I give him first, then he'll act as if he's last because he'll be too comfortable and too far to work for what he ought to be. It wasn't intended to destroy you. It was intended to challenge you. It wasn't intended to kill you. It was intended for you to recognize in terms of who you are. Whoa, can I help you? Some of us, Jacob didn't need to be born first in order to be first, because the character of Jacob and the strength of Jacob and the fact that Jacob was willing to work for it declared that he will be. How many of us in here waiting for other people to bestow on you what you ain't willing to work for? Waiting for others to give you what you ain't willing to get up and get. Waiting for others to make happen for you what you're not ready to make happen for yourself. God knows that he will put Jacob second. Then Jacob will realize he got to get up and go get it. Yeah. He didn't give us some parents that would do what they needed to do, because if they did it for you, then you wouldn't do it for yourself. And so early on, you've been taking and fending for yourself. You was a latchkey kid for a reason. Because he know that there was going to be some other people that you needed to teach how to go in and I come out. He know that you were going to have to talk to a generation who couldn't handle it by themselves. And you had to teach them that you started early on handling things way before it was time for you to help them. Yeah. God don't miss. God takes human mess and turn it into masterpieces. And so all the tapestry of the stuff that you think that is there to hurt you, to harm you, and to destroy you, and you cried out, God, why did you let it happen to me? God said, I needed to let it happen to you because I needed to challenge you to be able to go beyond what happened to you and start making things happen. Okay, I'm too heavy, too hard, too for that. Y'all need me to back down, quiet down. What is?
That's all right.
Yeah. Everything God did was good.
Yeah.
Ain't one song saying everything that happened to me, God did.
God did.
And part of the stuff that you don't think that God should have done is because God needed to challenge you to be able to move beyond where you are. Can you understand that when it was in order for Jacob to be first, what it meant in terms of the whole nation of Israel? Jacob really had to be able to talk to people that had been through bad stuff. He had to talk to those not just was born first, but those that was born second. And it's only when you're born second and you've earned first that you can talk from both places. Because if you're born first, you can't never talk about being second. Jacob was born second and he had to work his way up to first, and so he could talk to both first and second people and say, guess what? I know what it's like to be second. I know what it's like to be last, because that's actually what he was. He was last because wasn't nobody coming after him at that particular moment. So actually, I know what it's like to be last, but I also know what it's like to become first. And so whether he's sitting down with those who was first or last, Jacob can identify with them both. And only people that has both experience can deal with. God had to challenge him, but I thank God every one of us in here is going to be a breakthrough year because of what God has placed on the inside. All that happened in 2019 because God has challenged you to bring that stuff up. God has challenged you to get over it. God has challenged you to let it go. God has challenged you to recognize that you were stronger than it. It did not kill you. It did not run you crazy. It didn't make you throw in the towel. It didn't make you sit in a room and be quiet all by yourself in some dark depression. God has challenged you to look at your evidence of what you've been through and walk around and start talking about, I got to be a bad man. I got to be a bad woman. That's something in me too strong. Come on, help me out. Vanessa Bell, something inside too strong. He's challenging you. He's challenging you. Can you live beyond your disappointment? Because other people you lead got to live beyond theirs. How is it when I would exempt you from having to live beyond disappointment, and yet you got to counsel them? You can't counsel people out of dark places unless you've been there. You can't tell people how to rise above their circumstances if you never had circumstances to rise above. You can't tell people to come out of places you've never been. You can't tell people how to handle stuff you've never touched. It's a reason why it happened to you. Because God wants to challenge you and make you understand that I'm bigger than the rape. I'm bigger than molestation. I'm bigger than abandonment. I'm bigger than adoption. I'm bigger than heartache. I'm bigger than addiction. I'm bigger than the gun. I'm bigger than the divorce. I'm bigger than all of that best. And the reason I know I'm bigger, because baby, 2020, I'm here. I survived it all. And I'm still here. I went through hell and I came back. And I'm challenged to go a little further now. Yeah, I've been challenged. Look at your neighbor. Say, I don't know about you, but I'm a bad Christian. I'm Jim Brown bad. Yeah, I'm Beast Mode bad. I can leave and come back and still jump over and score.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Yes, sir. Thank you, Lord.
You better hear me today. You better hear me today. Going on the wrong track did me a favor. It made me make sure that I got new tracks wherever I went. But not only when you look at it, that God don't only use your circumstances to challenge you. But watch this, God will take your struggles to develop your strength. Because when Jacob was born, Brother Myron, he wasn't born as strong as he needed to be in order to lead other strong men and strong women. And so God had to give him struggle. Anybody ever got strong without struggle? Everybody that went beyond their weight capacity to pick up something without eventually having to pick up something that was too heavy for you to pull. Anybody been into the gym? In order to build bigger muscles, you had to pick up weight that was bigger than you. Somebody in here that didn't understand that in this room, in order to be strong or to develop strength, then it requires that. In training, they have what is called strength training. They take the athlete when they want him to be able to move people that is bigger than him. They normally take running backs who have to hit men that's twice their size or be hit by men that's twice their size. They take them through what they call strengthening in condition. Because they know that being that's twice your size gonna hit you, twice your height, twice your weight and everything. And you got to have the capacity to take their lick and also give them a lick and still be standing and still cross the goal line. Somebody come real close to me who wants to lead. Somebody come real close to me who wants to be at the top. Somebody come real close to me who want to be more than a conqueror. Somebody come real close to me the way you want to be. Yeah, the eater out of however the young folk call it. Somebody come real close to me, to the person who want to be on the rise, the person who want to ball, the person who want to have it all. In order for to do that, you must go through strengthening and condition. Because to have it all and to be over all, it requires you to be able to handle all that's going to come your way. So there's some that right now, the reason you ain't had breakthrough, because you're still in strengthening in condition class. God is giving you struggles that you don't want and putting weight on you that you cannot handle. Because God is trying to get you strong for what he has for you. There are those that are sitting around, walking around, and there are those that are in this room right now. You're looking over in somebody else's life, and you're envious of the fact that they got it like they have it, and you don't realize what they've been through in order to have it. You don't know the hell they've been through. You don't know the lies been told. You don't know the midnight tears been shed. You don't know the undermining and the plots they had to make it through. You don't know the human minds they stepped on trying to get where they was going and was blown up so many times they had to pick themselves up together. You don't know the heartache or the heartbreak. You don't know the lonely moments. You don't know the time when they rest been disturbed because they're not just worried about them but worried about other folk as well. You don't know how many sleepless nights they had. You don't know how many times they had to give up what they needed in order to get what they wanted. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know how they've been violated by others and mistreated by others, and they had to still stand. You don't know how they've been humiliated. You don't know how folk had laughed at them. You don't know how they mocked order that Jacob may get in the place where he wanted him to be?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because the Bible says God loved Jacob,
Yeah.
but he despised Esau.
Yeah.
And I always wrestle with that, how God despised what he created.
Right.
And the reason why, because God despised those that are always looking for the easy way out and don't want to go through nothing but want everything.
That's
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Huh?
All right. That's
Do I need to justify it biblically? You remember the man that God gave talents to? He gave everybody talents, gave one. And the one had the audacity to take the one and dig it on the hole. And God said, you wicked servant.
Yeah.
You want something, but you didn't do anything with the thing that I gave you.
That's right. Come on.
You want to know how to get on God's bad list? Is to be in God's face asking for stuff that you ain't willing to get up and get, and you ain't willing to believe him for, trust him for, or sometimes even work for.
Come on.
That's all right.
Yes, sir.
The Bible says, because Esau always wanted easy. Because he was born first. He thought himself to be privileged. He was born first. So he was Isaac faith. So the first thing that strengthened and condition that God sent Jacob through was not somewhere distant from home, but right here in the home. Because Jacob not only was second in birth, but he was second in his father's love, because his father loved Esau more than he loved Jacob, because Esau was a hunter and Jacob was a mama boy that stayed in the house. Something lead me to believe in the text. Jacob wasn't born with the same muscles that Esau had. For some reason that when he saw hunting, there's something that was over that he didn't want to do. Esau was the hunter. Esau was red. He liked Esau. But old Jacob, the second father, the son they wasn't expecting, and probably the one they didn't want at this time at the same time. Jacob, the unannounced one, the unexpected one. Jacob, the one that added the burden to his father, the way a parenting became more of a challenge than he wanted to be. Jacob, who added the extra burden of his mother, that where she not had to carry one child but two child, and now he's a nuisance even to the mother that has to carry him, because nobody was asking for two children, they were just asking for one. Jacob, who would have been left out if they had their choice. In the first place, he experienced the pain that made him realize that he had to grow beyond his reality and still be strong enough to lead and still be the man that God called him to be. That even when your parents won't embrace you, and even when your parents won't love you, and even when your parents don't give time and attention to you, even when your parents don't help you, and even when your parents don't pull you, and even when your child, that you got to figure out some kind of way to love yourself.
Amen. For real.
You got to figure out the fact that you're important, even when other folks don't think you're important, even when those folk is your parents. Jacob was loved by his mother more than his father. His father favored Esau. And I know mamas, y'all are saying, well, he in good shape. No, in that day, in that culture time, who the father favored is the one that is in good shape. Thank you, God. But I thank God for mothers, who stay in the coma, even though their children is second. I thank God for mothers who hang in there, even though he may not have been what you want him to be, and becoming what you don't like him to be. That you don't leave him, you keep encouraging him, and you stay with him, and you still let him find the importance that there's something about him, in spite of the fact that nobody else see it, that you can still see something. And that's because some mothers know what fathers don't know. And Rebecca knew what Isaac did not know. And I thank God that sometimes he don't tell men something, because men eliminate what they don't like.
Come on. Right. Help us today. Right. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. He has a challenge of parenting and being parented. He has a challenge of being loved by his family. He has a challenge to be equal to his brother. He has a challenge of being a man that his father give respect to. And just because he didn't like to hunt, the father felt that there was nothing in him. How many of us had to deal with the struggle that because you're not what they was expecting? How many of us had to deal with the fact you didn't bring the right grades home? How many have to deal with the fact that you ain't the right cute? You ain't the right fine. How many of us in here you're fine but you ain't got the right grades? How many in here you're fine, you got the right grades but you ain't got the right shape? How many of us in here you're fine, you look good, got the right shape but you ain't got the right manners? How many in here you find got the right shape and all that, and even because of that, people despise you because you just not the right one to fit in with him. All I'm suggesting to you, that you can be perfect in many ways and people will still see that which is wrong with you and make it bigger than all what is right about you. Jacob found how to love himself. And the reason why I know Jacob found a way to love himself because I discovered that Jacob found that he felt that he deserved to be first in place of his brother. Somebody in here, I know how you can know that you love yourself because you don't quit on yourself. You don't give up on yourself. You never think yourself to be less no matter what you have or what you don't have, no matter what position you've been born in, no matter what others say about you or think about you. Even if your mom and your daddy don't love you, you love yourself enough to know that you deserve what they don't want you to have and they don't think that you're capable of getting up. I know Jacob loved himself because the first opportunity Jacob had to be able to usher the birthright out of his brother's hand, because Jacob says the only thing that divides us is a few minutes and a few seconds in this birthright. Jacob said, I can't do nothing about the few seconds in the disposition I've been born in, but I can do something about this birth certificate you have. I can get it from you and it's no longer yours, but it'll become mine. What you want for your birth certificate? Is there anybody in here? I need to ask you today, what you want for your birth certificate? You don't appreciate who God created you to be. You don't like who you are. It ain't important enough in terms of the position and the purpose God gave you, and you don't want it enough. But I'm craving for some more stuff in my life and some more purpose in my life and some more identity in my life. And if you don't like yours, can I give you some soup for what God had for you? It's a breakthrough year for me, and I want it all. And soon as Esau, the privileged hunting self, came in the room. I'm about to leave y'all alone. Came in the room and like famished, hungry, starving, or so he thought. He ain't been missing no meals. He's so much of a hunter. Why you hungry? Okay. And when he come in, Jacob doesn't give him meat. Jacob give him what he has. Jacob been eating lentil beans. And Jacob said, man, I ain't got no meat, but I got these lentil beans. I ain't a hunter, but I know how to cook. And Jacob whipped up some lentil beans already cooked. And when Esau came in, hungry and famished, he says to Jacob, give me some of that soup. And Jacob said, give me your birthright. I'm going to tell you how you know a weak man. One that would give up his birthright for a bowl of soup. Somebody in here better hear me. Maybe it ain't been soup for you, but maybe it's been sex. Oh, I should have said that. I was. Maybe it ain't been soup for you. Maybe it's been the promotion on the job you've been looking for. You can tell a weak man that would give up his birthright or a weak woman that would give up her birthright because you want something that is temporal and temporary. You're trading your treasure, your birthright for soup. Soup. Student, the party ain't that good. It's soup. The degree will prove to do more for you than the soup of a party would do on anything. Yeah, catch the soup. you carry. Get studied because it's necessary. Soup.
That's all right.
Some of us grown folk break covenant relationships over soup. Common soup. Soup everybody been in and dipped in, and everybody done tried. Soup. Yeah. Don't preach reality in here. Somebody help me in here. Because the only way we're going to get some of us out of our strange places, the only way we're going to get some of us giving up our birthright, and the only way we're going to keep some of us from looking like somebody else's child other than God's child, I got to tell you the truth, that you've been trading your soup for your birthright. You got a name of being a Christian, but you play the game. I'm glad we fasted this week. Because some of us know the importance of the fact that soup ain't gooder than being in the presence of God. Soup, okay, let me keep walking. Not only did he have the struggle of that, watch this, I'll give you all Jacob's struggle, then I'm going to leave you alone. Jacob eventually got the birthright. Then after he got the birthright, Jacob had to work for the blessing, because the birthright is no good without the blessing. But the problem is he can't get the blessing of his father because his father don't like him like that. I told you God let you be born in the position that you were born in so you can be challenged. And sometimes God challenges you to see, can you still survive even though you ain't liked by your own father? Or the fact that you've been abandoned by your father, or you've been forgotten about by your father, or you haven't been provided by your father. Maybe he's been there, but he overlooked you like Jesse overlooked David because he don't think there's much to you. You want to lead? You want a breakthrough year? You want to be a champion? You want to be more than a conqueror? Take all the stuff that's been thrown your way and then stand in the face of it and face it and say, I don't care how many times you come, I'll see you again until I get you under my feet, because you ain't stronger than me.
Hey, come on. Jesus.
Hello. After he goes, he got to get the birthright from a person who don't really like him like that. But thank God for mamas who slide in. Thank God for the people who advocate. Thank you for fathers who show up. Thank you for the one person who still believes in me, even though other people don't believe me. Thank God that sometimes it's mother, sometimes it's father, sometimes it's other, sometimes it's people down the street, sometimes it's, I thank God for all the people in my community. I still thank God for Miss Veronica at the rent, who reminded me, boy, you better than this. Because even when I didn't know my birthright and I didn't know who I was, Brother Myron, she could see something in me that I could see in myself. And she was just a recreational park lady that was in the park, but she looked as if she was a prophet and said, Derek Lee, there's something different in you, and there's something better than you than what you're doing. You need to get up and make yourself back to your house. Thank God for the Rebecca's of your life that will remind you, you can't see it, boy, but it's something in you. And Rebecca knew that it was something in him, and Rebecca knew that God had a plan for him, and Rebecca was willing to put her life on the list and her marriage on the list to make sure that her son didn't fall through the loop. And when he says to him, he said, go in there and act like you your brother, put on your brother's stuff. Sometimes you got to dress like other folk in order to get where you're trying to go. Somebody in here better hear me. Let me talk to those people who always tell me, I just want to be myself. Baby, being you won't get you where you need to be. You need to dress up like some other folk till you get past some doors so you can be who you want to be. Baby, being dumb ain't going to get you no degree. You better go find some folk that's smart and be like them. I don't know about you, but I always got this story that I tell. When I was at Jarvis Christian College, I needed statistics in order to be able to graduate, but I knew I was going to flunk statistics. Pastor, how you know you were going to flunk statistics? Because I barely made it out of algebra. How you know, Pastor? Because I was struggling in every other class, and this was the worst kind of class that you ever wanted to know. But there was a young lady by the name of Tamika, that Tamika was a straight A student. She was Miss Jarvis, and I decided to sign on and be Tamika's friend, not her boyfriend, just her friend, her brother. And I hung out with Tamika, and my partners and brother would always talk about, look at you, that's your woman, that's fine, call her what you want. But when it came time to pass statistics, and I looked over and I realized I was one of the 3 that passed it. Yeah, in the class, I looked over there and talking about, now who need a girlfriend? I passed because I was too dumb on my own, but realized I needed Tamika to help me. Yeah, you my friend, baby, to the end, and she my friend to this day. Yeah. We laugh about it today. Actually, her friend was my girlfriend, not her. But I thank God for my girlfriend who had a smart friend and knew that I needed to be. I don't have time to preach it all, and I don't want to keep you. Not only did he struggle with his father, but he struggled in terms of a mate. I wish I had time to tell you. He was tricked when he went to go marry one woman. He ended up with the woman he didn't have. Some of us in there know that struggle. When he woke up the next day and was ready to have a divorce on a Norman, because he was drunk, too drunk to see who he was marrying. Some of us in here, you was drunk. Drunk with lust, drunk with the beauty, drunk, that too. You was drunk. You was drunk, intoxicated, thinking that he was going to get better, she was going to get better, drunk. Thought that they were just going to act like this and they would outgrow it, drunk. Thought that if I do it and I give her a commitment, then she won't think that I'm a cheater no more, drunk. Thinking that if I got married, I won't cheat anymore, drunk. Somebody in here other than me thought that because she likes me now and it's going to always be that, drunk. Acting as if we're just a fairy tale couple and you got to marry your high school sweetheart, drunk. Is it anybody in here other than me that woke up one morning and realized I done ended up with the wrong one? I should have married the one that I let get away. I should have married the one that the father didn't make available to me. I should have married the one that went to sleep with me. I should have married the one that wouldn't let me have her all the way. I should have married the one that told me how and to wait till this time. I should have got with the sister that respect her treasure and wasn't willing to sell her birthright for my soup. I had some soup too. Red lobster soup. Sizzler soup. Filet. I had some soup, Brother Carlo. The one thing I didn't mind doing was spending my money so that I could have some soup because I knew somebody would want my soup. And if I got their game on my soup, I was looking for their birthright. So Jacob ended up in divorce, and now he hasn't developed the strength of being in a place where you don't want to be and yet love and be committed and take care of the children that you didn't want from that woman, but because you wanted the children, you still loved the children and still was good to her, still in the midst of it. And even though you didn't get what you want, you were still man enough to stay there and not walk away. You were still man enough to still provide and give them what was necessary. You were still man enough to take the challenges of the fact that sometimes life hands you disappointment and sometimes you make the wrong choices, but in spite of making the wrong choices, you still decide that you're going to stand up and be strong. Yeah. But not only that, but then Laban fell, Jacob fell to the scheme of a Ponzi scheme by his own uncle Laban.
Come on.
Laban, who's his mother's brother, have now concocted an idea and told Jacob, give me 7 years for Leah. And after you work 7 years for Leah, then you give me, he worked 7 years for Rachel, but he did a switch on Jacob and gave him Leah. And now he asked Jacob for 7 more years for Rachel. Jacob did 14 years of hard marriage in order just to have a hard work, just to marry the woman he wants. And you got a man that won't give you 14 days of hard work and you married him. Now this stuff is meant to challenge you. This stuff is meant to make you stronger. because he ain't got nothing inside of him that's stronger than him. He whined because he's weak. He whined because either his mother spoiled him, daddy spoiled him, or you spoiled him. He doesn't meet the challenges of life because people have already gave him everything. Nobody never ever challenged him to get up to do anything. You married a whiner, and now you whining. And you refuse to challenge him and to give him the struggle he needs. Fend for yourself. You ain't eating on me no more. You won't starve before I give you another meal. Because I want to give my soup where that's treasure. And I want to give my treasure where you can at least provide some decency. I know this ain't the kind you've been looking for, but the kind we need, because if you're going to be strengthened, you got to live in your reality. Talking about lifting weights don't make no one strong. Talking about being strengthened and living what we call bubblegum muscles. And bubblegum muscles, when you go in, Cal know that he weightlifter. When you go in the gym and you pump heavy weight for a little while and it swells up your arm, but you ain't really got no real strength. You look big, but you ain't got nothing. You don't have anything until you create a lean muscle, and a lean muscle requires discipline. The lean muscle requires you to have measurement. You can't just power lift it up and put it down, power lift it up and put it down, power lift it up. No, to build a real muscle, you got to take it half mass. You got to know when to bring it down so that it rests on certain areas that is not strong, so that those areas be strong as well. And I take a small muscle that is well developed than a big muscle that's blown up, because that muscle can hold a weight in area capacity, not just in a... Not only does he have a struggle in terms of life, surviving, taking care of his family, not only is he schemed on by his own family member, which is his uncle, not only is he taking advantage of, that he has domestic dilemmas going on in his house. Yeah. Not by choice, he ends up with 2 wives. He ends up with Leah and Rachel. But it's not his choice, it's the father's choice of Leah and Rachel, who have made Jacob marry Leah, even though that's not who he was promised. And then gave him the opportunity to be with Rachel. I really want to drop something in here right now, but I heard so many people feeling I won't even say, but gave him the opportunity. No, I'm just talking real and reality in here. But that may be real and ready for some of us ain't ready to fall. That may be the reason why he can't get for, because you manipulated him to get there. Because somebody, so okay, then leave that alone. Amen. Thank you. And now you mad that he's looking for the person who he really loved, but you knew he didn't love you at the beginning, but you bought him, you paid him, you involved. You know that she didn't really love you, but you gave her what you thought she wanted. You know she didn't really care about you. You know that man, that woman ain't really want you, because she kept on talking about somebody else, and you kept on giving her other stuff to talk about other than that person, and you didn't give her you. Because if she rejected you, then she don't want me. And my grandmother told me and taught me as a little boy, if you don't like it me don't like it you, let me find who like it me so that I can be all right. Somebody in here tell me, Pastor, shut up and sit down.
No, you all right. Tell the truth.
People get offended. Most time people deal with me in a relationship, females in particular, because that's only what I deal with in relationships and the person about nobody else. So they're the only one get mad at me. So I'm just talking to females right now. Normally when females deal with me and they start talking about, I don't want you, baby, go bye. See you later. Hallelujah. Go by your business. I may cry in my corner, and I may grind on the couch and cry and eat, but baby, I'm going to get over that. But what I won't get over, if I keep on coming over to you and you keep on throwing me out and pushing me back, and baby, I'm going to live this pain one time, and then I'm going to get over it, and then I'm going to get where somebody won't be. You need to tell somebody, I'm strong enough to let you go. Even though I want you, I'm strong enough to let you find somebody else. Even though I want to be with you, I'm strong enough to recognize you don't want me and I don't meet your cup of tea. I'm all right with that. Just leave me alone. Quit calling me. he leave you, don't call me after y'all get through. Don't call me after he satisfied you in one area but can't feed you in another. Don't you call me to feed you. Baby, you want all of me or you don't want any of me? Go on by your business. I don't need half love, I need all of it. I need love that knows its treasure. Okay. Let me leave you alone. Thank you, God. Hallelujah. See, there's something in you that wouldn't let you give up. Thank you, God. Because he rejected you. I love both Rachel and Leah. Because Leah, the woman that says, baby, you may not want me, but it ain't going to kill me because you don't want me, because I'm going to wait for God to bless me. Woo! Somebody in here, I want to shout right here, and I want to talk to all the Leahs in the room that had to be the side piece. I want to talk to all the Leahs in the room that didn't get to come in the relationship first. I want to talk to all the Leahs in the room. Baby, you wasn't the first. I want to talk to all the Leahs in the room. Your father didn't raise you right, so you end up giving your treasure to a man that did not want you. I want to talk to all the Leahs in the room. Baby, you've been raped, you've been left out, you done prostitution and everything else just to survive and to live. But you didn't give up because you had children that would give you hope beyond your reality. And that's what Leah did. Somebody in here need to hear me in this room. Just because you Leah doesn't mean that breakthrough ain't coming your way. Listen here, you can be Leah or Rachel. Watch this. Rachel has to live because God gives everybody their burden. God gives everybody their challenge. Leah's challenge was her looks. Rachel's challenge was her womb because Rachel could not bear children, but old ugly Leah can drop them high like they needed to be. Rachel was looking good on the outside, but the sister couldn't produce nothing from the inside. And so God gave her the beauty of good looks, but then made her barren, turned around and gave Leah a little crooked eye, but he gave her the ability to produce. Okay, leave y'all alone. And that's why some of us end up with two wives. Because we look at one that look good, but then we caught on the one that produced. The thing is to marry the both, not the one. The one is to find both in one, not to have two in. Y'all want me to leave him? I just told you why he left. He got with Rachel, but Rachel was barren. She can't produce nothing. She can only receive, but she ain't giving nothing back. Somebody in here can hear me?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good example. Come on.
Want me to leave you alone? He didn't want Leah. But Leah became important. Because Leah had purpose. Somebody in here better hear me. Because the other thing that Jacob would have despised Rachel for. And sometimes you got to thank the people who bailed you out and you didn't know they was bailing you out. Because even though she was beautiful and though Jacob wanted her, at the point that she wouldn't have been able to bear Jacob no sons, then she would have been despised by Jacob. No, read Old Testament and you'll discover. The next thing he wanted more than his wife was a son that could carry his name. That's why Abraham prayed. And they know that problem was in their family once. And now Jacob would have been talking about, here I go again. My grandmother was barren, Sarah. Hope I don't be 100 like my granddaddy before we have a baby. And he would have ended up despising. I'm going to leave you alone. Despising Rachel. Even though she was beautiful. You know, Sarah was beautiful, but Hagar had to have a baby. Somebody in here, did you hear me one more time in this room? I'm trying to help y'all walk through this stuff that y'all think that you looking at me and God, why you make me beautiful? You got more children than any beautiful woman I ever seen. He made you beautiful somewhere. Don't. No. I mean in the most innocent sense. Now, if you went dirty just because that's where you are. I mean in the most innocent sense. Look around. Some of them holler, I'm too cute to lose my shape. And you hear you tell me, here I am, making mine's up. Want me, but then appreciate me after you do it. And after all of that, watch this. Because it don't matter who you married, who you connected to. Don't matter who schemed you and who you schemed. Because Jacob turned on Laban when Laban turned on him. Laban did a switch on Jacob. But Jacob ran a Ponzi scale on him. And took his own cattle and his own sheep and made them look at a mandate and made them produce the kind that Jacob wanted. I tell you, take care of anything long enough, it'll start looking like you. Maybe in somebody else's cattle. But if you take care long enough, that same cattle going to feed your family and take care of you. Just take care of it. All right? I'm leaving you right here. I'm going to drop you right here. I'm going to leave you alone. And that's what happened. No matter all what Jacob have accumulated in life, no matter what he's been through, no matter what he's been called, he's been a trickster, he's been everything. It all comes down, Calvin, to one night. Jacob had one experience with God when he started this journey. He saw angels ascending and descending. Jacob had to lay his head on a rock because he's between a rock and a hard place. He's really rock bottom. He has no one to turn to, no family to run to. And the only person he can run to is a scheming uncle who ain't no good. And so Laban, Rachel mama who loves him, Jacob mother who loves him, sent him to old scheming brother of hers. Isn't it funny? Yeah. How we end up with the people that's worse than us. And for some reason they think they're going to make us better. But the crazy part is, they do.
Yes, sir. They do.
Jacob become the man that he would never became in Isaac's house. Jacob had he learned how to handle stuff in Laban's house that he would have never learned how to handle in his father's house. And the son that was in Isaac's house didn't learn how to handle life situations and life ups and downs like Jacob learned in Laban's house, because Laban wasn't treating him like he was first or as he was his. Laban treated him as he was just a product of the next thing he needed to get. Thank God for the people who didn't love you, but used you and made you stronger and made you wiser and made you better and made you be able to take what other folk they can't take.
That's right, Pastor. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. Thank you, Lord.
People treat you a certain way, you be looking at them talking about, shoot, my family treated me like that, I'm good.
I know that's right. For real.
I make sure my children get a chance to talk about each other and give each other a hard time sometimes, so when they get among their friends, they tell me, Daddy, they said something about me. So your sister said the same thing about you. What's the problem? Yeah. Live in reality. If you're going to be strong, if you're going to lead, you're going to be able to take stuff. Skin got to be tough. And Jacob was left alone. And a man at night grabbed Jacob. I'm out of time for preaching. I'll just tell you this, and I'll leave you alone. God created encounters for you so he can reveal the strength that is in you. God saved Esau's life. Why are you looking at me like that? Because when you read the chapter, Esau and his 400 men was coming towards Jacob. Jacob and his servants was moving towards going back home because he knew it was time to go back. I tell you what, Esau ain't no match for Jacob, no matter how many men he had. No. In order to save Esau's life and to develop and bring Jacob's life to his purpose, God let Jacob be left all by himself. He divided his family. I love that about him. He divided his family. He sends Rachel and her group one way with servants and men. Sends Leah and her group another way. And Jacob is all by himself. He doesn't put his family at risk, because if it's Esau looking for him, then don't destroy nobody around me in order to get to me. Jacob said, I started this, and I'll be the one finishing without involving other people. Wow. Jacob said, I got this. Leave me here. What else could happen to me? I've been 14 years with a woman I don't want, that I learned to want. I've done another 7 or 8 years with a woman I want that couldn't give me nothing. I've been rejected by my own father. I've been mistreated and treated lesser by my brother. What else could happen to me? Yeah. I've been on the run for my life because my brother wanted to kill me, and I was young when that happened. What else could happen to me? My own uncle cheated me out of 14 years of hard labor and would have took everything I had not God given me the wisdom to bargain with him. What else can happen to me? Been living in a house with 2 women bickering against one another and giving me hell. What? I ain't scared of Esau. And that's why I'm ready to go home now. Some of us in this room don't realize you're ready now to experience breakthrough in places where you could not address stuff, where you could not talk. You're ready to go see your Esau. You're ready to go see the one that raped you or molested you or lied to you or abandoned you or left you out. You're ready to face the one that bullied you. You're ready to deal with that stuff. And because of something that's in you so strong, you need to turn around and tell them, before I tell you about yourself, I want you to know what you did to me made me strong enough to show up to you this day and handle you.
Yes, sir.
Let me leave you alone. Thank you for doing it to me.
I know you're right.
Because one thing I know, I can live no matter what that happens. But God intercepts, because he knows that if Esau meet Jacob and he makes a wrong move, that Jacob would get Esau before Esau get Jacob, because God said Jacob is the stronger one. And watch it, somebody over here don't get me, because I believe in prophecy more than I believe in protection. God has prophesied that Esau shall bow at Jacob. And so God cannot let Jacob die, no matter how many men is against him. Somebody in here didn't hear that in this room. Because some of you got to go back and face folk, and then you're outmanned, outnumbered, outgunned, outsworn, outprotected, but you forgot the prophecy that was over your life. The prophecy that is over your life is that Esau shall serve you. Now God don't have to let him serve you while you're in a plush position, and that's why he challenged you to be stronger and better. Watch what he said. Jacob, go towards Esau, and you don't need nobody but me and the word that I spoke over you, and that's enough to protect you. Somebody in this room, you need to come closer, because you're trying to get other things and other people and stuff before you get ready to go back. No, go back with the word that God spoke over your life. Get up out of your seat and move towards it. Say, I don't need all that in there. See, I know some of y'all was looking at me like, what do you mean he was going to do? Because Esau would have had to serve Jacob, because the word says to Rebekah, Esau is going to serve the younger one. I don't need no accoutrements. Need no stuff. Need no house. I'm going to show up with who I am. And who I am is going to give me the breakthrough I need. What's inside of me is stronger than anything and everything that's outside of me. What's inside of me will not stop me from what I need and what I need to get. Somebody in this room need to recognize that you're waiting for God to give you stuff, and God gave you substance on the inside of you that'll help you get the stuff that you think you need. If I could only have somebody to help me